So this is another example, hopefully it's not the only example, of a addition problem, and the denominators are different, but the denominators are monomials. So sometimes we have denominators that are binomials or trinomials, and maybe those are a little easier to look at, but these are monomials. So if I look at the 6x squared y, the factors for that, if I break it down like in a prime factorization, I have 2 times 3, which is 6, and then I have 2 factors of x, that's x squared, and a factor of y. If I look at the 15xy squared, I can do the same thing. I have a factor of 3, a factor of 5, a factor of x, and a factor of y, and another factor of y for the y squared. Now, we're going to compare these. So we're comparing the factors here to the factors here. And what do they have that are already the same, and what do they need? Okay, so I'm going to have a 2 because the top factor has a factor of 2. I'm also going to have a factor of 3. Now notice that they both only have one factor of 3, so I only need one factor of 3. This, by the way, what I'm doing is finding the LCD, okay, or the LCM, whichever way they say it. I'm also going to need a factor of 5 because the 15xy squared has a factor of 5. Now, looking at the x's, you have to take the biggest group. So I have 2 factors of x here. I only have one factor of x there. That's okay. 2 is bigger than 1, and so I have enough factors of x for the 15xy squared. Okay, so I can't erase things. I can only bring things in so that both of these I could find their factors in the LCD. Okay, similarly, the y's, I'm going to take the y squared because that has more y's than the other one. Okay, now hopefully this will make a little more sense if I do this. So I'm trying to find the 6x squared y inside that LCD. I've got the 2, I've got the 3, I've got both x's, and I've got a y. Now I also have to be able to find the 15xy squared in there. I've got the 15, I've got the x, and I've got the y squared. See how everything is accounted for. I don't have anything extra. I don't want anything extra because it has to be the least common denominator or lowest common denominator. Okay, least common multiple. They'll use both LCM and LCD, but hopefully that's okay. So I'm trying to give you a real big explanation on how to include which pieces. And you have to look at the prime factors of both these denominators. Okay? Now we do that when we have the binomials and the trinomials as well, but sometimes they don't get as complicated. They're a little bit easier to see sometimes. Okay. Now what we have to do is get the LCD over here. Okay. Whoops. I'm going to erase that. And we'll do this in orange. We'll do the first one in orange. Okay. So when I look at the orange part, the 6xy squared, here's what I already have. I have the 2, the 3, the x, and the y. Now I need to put in what's missing. Well, it's missing the 5, and it's missing a y. So I will be multiplying by 5y. When I multiply in the denominator, I also multiply in the numerator. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 15xy squared. So look at what I have and what's missing, the 2 and the x. So I'll be multiplying by 2x. And again, whatever I multiply in the denominator, I also multiply in the numerator. Okay, that gets us started. Now, what is all of this? Like if I multiply this all together, what do I get? I get 30x x squared y squared. That should be my LCD. Okay, that's going to be the least common denominator. Now I can check that when I multiply here. Do I get 30x squared y squared in the denominator? I do. That's going to be my new denominator. Now, what do I get in the numerator? I'll have to multiply that. 25y. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for the other one. What do I get when I multiply here? I better get 30x squared y squared, or I won't have the common denominator. But I do. And then what do I get in the numerator? 16x. Okay, so we're almost done. Now, what can I do? Well, I can add them. I have 25y plus 16x. I can't combine those because they're not like terms. So I can just leave it like that for now. Over 30x squared y squared. Now, I would try to factor the numerator if I could, but it doesn't look like I can. They don't have a greatest common factor. It's not a trinomial that I can factor with that. There's no GCF. So I'm done. I can't cancel anything because I only have one thing up there. I have the 25y plus 16x. It has to be all or nothing. I can't factor that numerator anymore. Okay? The denominator, I can think of those factors like I have drawn out over here, but none of them are going to cancel because I don't have any of those factors in the numerator. Okay, so that's why it doesn't simplify. You can't add the terms in the numerator, and you can't factor the numerator. So you're done. Long explanation, but I hope it helped. Let me just mention one more thing. If you were thinking, well, couldn't I cancel 5 out of the 25 and the 30? No, because 25 isn't times the whole thing. It's just this part over here, and you have this addition separating it. You have to have multiplication. If I had 25 times y plus 16x, if I had something like this, then I could cancel 5 and 6 there, like that. But I don't have that. The addition in the numerator is what prevents me from simplifying that problem more. So again, what I have the box around, that's the answer. This is like a made-up problem over here, okay? All right, so, but I know sometimes people have questions like, why can't I cancel the 25 and the 30? Or why can't I cancel the y's? Or why can't I cancel the x's? Because the addition prevents you from doing that. You can only cancel factors. And factors are when you have, stuff times stuff. Then those are each factors. But we don't have that this time. We have stuff plus stuff. And you might be saying, yeah, but in the 25, why I have stuff times that stuff? It has to be the overall thing. The overall operation has to be multiplication. Okay, I hope that helps and doesn't make it more confusing, but let me know if you have more questions.